Previously on the Palantir.
Hello, Damian, it's Emma.
Emma? You alright?
No, I need you to come pick me up right away, right now.
Oh, okay, yeah.
This is our first opportunity to do Palantir, and we've got to get it absolutely nailed on right.
100% spot on.
Welcome to the Palantir. Yeah, that must be right. No, it's not. It's cool. Get back. Let's go. We gotta go. Get out. And won't burn? Oh, thank God. No.
Welcome Strategy Battle Games to our GBHL YouTube video. You'll hear your host, GBHL Damian.
And GBHL Tom.
And this is episode... Who's that?
Again.
Well, I'll put it on speaker again.
Yeah, put it on speaker again.
Hello?
Alright, guys.
Who's that?
It's James, isn't it?
James?
Sorry, I've just got back from the gym.
Oh, you're alright, mate?
Yeah, I saw the episode of Palantir last week with Jamie and I thought, I want a piece of that.
Yeah, well, that's alright. You can, maybe sometime in the future, if you're
Oh,
about.
no, I'm here, mate. I ran from Manchester. I'm downstairs, innit?
You're downstairs?
Yeah, mate.
Alright, I'll come and let you in.
No, mate. I'm here. Hold on.
You're in that house?
Hey!
You're alright, mate? You alright?
Yeah,
Hi,
mate.
James.
Let's get on with this. Yeah.
Yeah, it's good to see you, man. How you doing?
Oh, mate, my DOMs, the exercises I've been repping. Look at these muscles. You want these muscles, don't you, Tom? Yeah. Oh, my
Alright,
eyes.
you wanna-
my days.
You want to do the Palantir?
Yeah, mate. That's why I'm here.
Alright, it's... okay, cool. It's episode 7.
Yeah.
We're going to talk about the Desolation of Smaug, which is the extended edition. Just seen it. And,
Wicked, mate. Wicked.
You know the
well
thing?
up for it. Well up for it.
Right, you know the...
Yeah. I know.
Alright. Welcome Strategy Battle Gamers to our GBHL YouTube video. You're here with your host, GBHL Damian.
GBHL James.
And GBHL Tom.
And this is episode 7 of
The Palantir.
And we are here to talk to you about, in a super special edition, the Desolation of Smaug Extended Edition. Oh my days.
Oh my eyes.
Oh, nice.
Oh my days. Yep, we've all just watched it. Have you seen it?
Oh yeah, mate. I was watching it.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Alright.
Yeah, I was watching it.
On the way down?
While I was on the treadmill. I had it downloaded onto my iPad and I was running, I was sprinting. Mate,
Brilliant.
oh my eyes.
We are going to be talking about the Desolation of Smaug Extended Edition, and we're going to be filling you in on what we thought about it with our special guest host, GBHL James. So, what did you think of the Extended Edition?
Well, there were so many Rohan. And
So lots of new scenes.
Yeah, there's quite a few. I mean, it was good to see some extra stuff with Bayon.
oh yeah, he's a woodcutter. I wonder how much he can bench.
Expanded, and we finally get to see the stream sequence from the book with Bomber.
Yeah.
Oh, now he's someone that could come and have some sessions with me down at the gym.
Yeah, he could do
That'd stop him
some-
from falling in the water.
Yeah, if he was a bit slimmer.
Absolutely. I mean, we could do so much work with him. We could whip him into shape.
It's really nice to see.
Yeah, it was good.
Yeah.
We got some
Yeah.
extra stuff with the Master, some extra stuff with Alfred in there.
Yeah, but where was Guy here?
That's a good point.
Yeah.
Where was he?
He's meant to be there, isn't he?
Should be there with Alfred.
My eyes.
James, wake up! Wake up! Don't you go where I can't follow. Not asleep. He's dead. Are you good? No. I'm going to save you.
No real extra spider elf fighting.
Yeah, it would have been nice if that whole spider battle sequence had been a bit expanded.
Yeah, with more Tario.
Hey, it's GBHL Jamie!
Hey, live on the Palantir.
Hey, can't get enough after last week. How you doing, man? You alright? Yeah. Oh, me too. You? Yeah? No, he is actually. Yeah, he's here with us. Yeah, I think he was a bit jealous of you last week. Wanted to get in on the Palantir action. You what? You did what? Yeah, alright. I'll get back to you. Emma!
No. It's James.
Ella!
What? I just wanted to be on the Palantir.
Did you, or did you not, lock James in the cupboard for a week?
No.
No?
Yes. I was doing it for my fans.
Where are you even from?
Oh, I don't know why bother.
I think she locked him in the cupboard downstairs.
For a week?
I think so. This week that was an hour of the Palantir.
Oh, we're gonna have to record it all again. This is worse than the time when you deleted the video.
Yeah. You got it set up like this as well.
Yeah. We could probably do it with a third person.
We're gonna have to find a third person.
Welcome, Strategy Battle Gamers, to another GBHL YouTube channel video. You're here with your host, GBHL Tom.
And GBHL Damian. And tonight we are joined by none other than
Tom 2.0.
Tom 2.0.
Yep, we've got our own 2.0 down south. We have Mr. Tom Macklin.
Hey.
The Palantir is fast becoming a three-man show.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, given that James couldn't make it, we needed Tom to step
Yeah,
up
well, we
to the
thought
plate.
James had made
Yeah.
it. Yeah, we filmed an hour with James.
Yeah, it's such a letdown.
And then the shock, the twists.
I know, the twists.
The twists and turns that this show takes. So here
Nobody
we
saw that coming.
are. No, I know. The drama.
From the blue.
Here we are with Mr. Tom Macklin today, who has been here because this is a special edition of the Palantir, where we're going to have a review of your comments as normal, but our main conversation topic this week is going to be the Desolation of Smaug Extended Edition, which was released in some formats today. So our main discussion point will be that. And Tom Macklin came and watched it with us today.
Yeah.
So he has been kind enough to join us on the sofa for finding out what we thought about it.
Yep, and this is episode 7 of The Palantir. Yeah, let's get that in there.
Indeed, yeah, I nearly forgot the
Yeah.
important bit. Yeah. This is what happens when we start it off the wrong way around.
I know, yeah.
As ever, these are just the views and opinions of myself, Tom, and Tom 2.0.
Yep.
So don't yell at us. We might be right, we might be wrong. We just don't know.
No.
And I had another thing to say. Of course, sorry. Before we get started.
Oh, that was...
David Whittaker. Cheers.
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 Cups. We've done a B cup before, haven't we? I think we've shown them the B cup.
The B cup's been
Yeah,
on,
you're familiar with B
I'm
cup,
familiar
yeah.
with the B cup and the blue heart. I've got the blue heart.
Yeah, we haven't seen the blue hearts because we've seen the pink heart
Yes.
cup, but this is its partner. Do you want to just show it there? Tom's had the pink one before, but that's the blue heart cup. And Tom, what have you got there?
I've got dairy milk.
It's a dairy milk mug. That's from an Easter egg.
Yeah, it must be.
Yeah, those classic ones that fill out your cupboard.
Mm.
So yeah, sorry, nothing particularly exciting this week mug-wise, but we have our two.
But we have other things that are exciting.
So exciting.
What a segue. What a segue.
So, thank you as always for all your kind comments.
Mm.
Thomas Macklin, not so many comments from you. I know it's on the Palantir.
No, I know. I'm very sorry about that. I'm a busy man. Two
comment.
kids and...
Comment on other videos.
You're in the other videos
Have
as
you?
a dwarf.
Have you channelled?
Channeled what? Fury?
Fury.
Hey.
Nerd humour. Have you been on the channel?
Yes, I have.
Oh.
A player interview.
The player
Yeah,
interview.
Andy did a
And
back rap
Back rap.
I was
Well, yeah,
on 6
dwarves.
VPs. Yeah.
against the
Yeah, I banned
mounted Rohan.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, you got stitched.
That was a fun
up.
game. Yeah.
Indeed, but
Yeah.
perhaps your first time for the viewers to get to know a little more about you.
Yeah.
So I hope they
Yeah.
should do chip in.
I'll try.
That way we don't have to say anything.
Okay, I'll do my best.
That's what we pay you for.
Indeed. That's why we bunged you that tenner. So, as always, thank you so much for your comments last week. What were we talking about last week?
Lots of stuff.
Yeah.
That was my pause before I could think of what we talked about last week. We talked about with
We talked
Jamie.
about neglected profiles.
Oh, yeah, and also
Jamie.
Games Workshop about the new
The
name.
rebranding,
Potential rebranding.
Which absolutely no one picked up on in the comments. I thought that would be a big deal. No one mentioned it. That was interesting.
Yep.
What
What else did we talk about with Jamie?
Can't remember. But there were plenty and plenty of comments.
This is why I should rank the agenda.
Indeed, yeah, we didn't talk. I didn't go through that. We'll crack on with some of those. There's a couple of directed at me. Doom Bunny pointed out that I have Angels and Airwaves as my ringtone, which I do. Well done. You got that from 3 seconds of ringtone. It is indeed the adventure. I'm a massive Blink-182 fan, and I was a big fan of that when it came out, and I love that song. I think it makes a good ringtone. So yeah, I do enjoy Angels and Airwaves. And Nalzi said that I must be... Oh, that's what we talked about. We talked about our other passions.
Ah, of course.
Indeed, because Nalzi then said that I must be pretty excited about Jurassic Park World coming out.
You're not
Next
excited,
year.
are you?
I am.
You're uber excited.
I'm very excited.
Yeah.
I wasn't that excited about the sequels, but now having given it 10 years, and the fact that it's set in a working theme park, it's not like on another ruined island, I'm giddily excited about that. And I'm actually debating whether the trailer for that is due out on the front of Interstellar. And Emma asked me the other day whether I was more excited for the Battle of Five Armies trailer or the Jurassic World trailer. And do you know what, Tom? I didn't know. Do you know what, Tom's?
Blasphemy.
I didn't know. And I think maybe Jurassic World, because I've heard less from it. So yes, I am very excited about Jurassic World, and I think it's going to be very good.
Yeah.
Yeah, indeed.
And Jamie talked about computer games.
Computer games, indeed. A few people picked up on that. Talking about Ian Marley agreed, Ocarina of Time, best game ever. Yourself?
Yeah, it's up there, definitely. But I quite like the Twilight Princess.
Oh, it's very good.
Yeah.
Very good.
Very
Better
good.
than Ocarina, though. So a reckless comment.
Probably not bad.
It is good.
It's
I enjoyed it a lot.
Yeah. I always find going back to the Ocarina, it's so frustrating.
Yourself?
What favourite game?
Favourite Zelda game?
I don't play Zelda.
Boring.
Boring.
Too
That's
busy looking
hours
at
of your
rocks.
life.
Yeah, too busy doing geology.
Yeah, and Jeremy Smith actually asked about Middle Earth geology, and there may be a special bit of a Palantir at some point on that. So watch this space.
That's going to become a discussion point, isn't
Yeah,
it? The
probably.
geology of Middle Earth,
Yeah, let's
but
go
not
for
this
that.
week.
Not this week.
Because we think that's not a comment response.
No.
That's a segment of the Palantir.
Yeah.
It's a good question. Quite interesting, and a lot of those things, taking Middle Earth too seriously, I love. I'm a big fan of it. I've got the Atlas of Middle Earth, and we'll probably refer to that.
Yeah.
Well, talking of taking Middle Earth too seriously, we're having a quite heated discussion, no pun intended, about the melting point of wheelbarrows.
In molten gold.
Absolutely.
So
what's the common argument against the ending of Desolation of Smaug?
I think people don't like that Thorin jumps in a wheelbarrow that then floats in gold. Because the wheelbarrow's not
The
melting.
wheelbarrow's remain. And I think my defence has always been it's gold that's been heated up by the fire of a dragon. And when there's a dragon there, don't worry about the physics of a wheelbarrow melting because altogether now it's a dragon. You know?
Strong arguments. But,
does the wheelbarrow melt? I don't know, I'm still looking at the dragon if I'm honest.
but interestingly, the melting point of iron is about 100 degrees C more than the melting point of gold.
So what you're saying is
If it's an iron wheelbarrow,
You'd be right.
and the temperature is just above
It's
1,000,
within 100
within
degrees,
about 100
right?
degrees. Yeah.
Yeah, it should
But
have
it's
cooled
fine.
down by that time, as you were saying
Yeah.
earlier.
It could happen.
Yeah.
It could happen. And if you still have a problem with it, there's a dragon there. It's not a tiger. It's a dragon. And indeed, so perhaps some more kind of in-depth looking at geology and geography of Middle Earth to come, which could be quite interesting, I think. For people, fans of this show, not for the general populace. Barry O'Neill was very kind to say that we should form a sitcom between the team GBHL.
Yeah.
I don't know what that's about.
I think, yeah.
We just sit here and talk. There's always these weird references to like Emma and to like comedy and stuff, and I don't know what that's about.
Me neither.
Complete lack of comedy.
Never noticed it.
As a viewer, thank you.
Hopefully it works better as a 4.
Yeah, indeed. It's good to get them involved.
Yeah.
It's really good. In all seriousness, to have a bit of we do live quite far away from each other.
Yeah.
So getting to spread the love a bit and have all of us on the video together, I thought was quite good.
Though James wasn't in the plant.
Yeah, indeed, because he was locked in a cupboard.
Yeah.
Somewhere. Billy Fitzmaurice asked a very interesting question, which was it was in reference to me saying that this took up time away from my playing the guitar and that sort of thing. Well,
Yeah.
And he said, how much time does list building take up? So like theorising lists and writing lists in advance. How much of your hobbying time does that take up?
I do it when I'm walking around in my head. So I generally know most of the points values of all my models in my head. So I just do it when I'm walking around, and then I'll type into my phone. So it's never something I consciously think about sitting down. I would never sit down at home and do it, but I'll do it if I'm on the train, on the tube, on a walk. I'll probably just try and think of a list.
So?
Not too long, to be fair. I think because everyone that knows me, I'm not the most competitive player, so I come to have a bit of fun. So if anything that I think looks cool, I'll choose. So people like Boromir, Aragorn, big heroes, just for the fun.
So you go for the cool stuff?
I go for the cool stuff, because I don't know how to list build, really, to compete. Yeah. 2015, here I come.
Are you aiming to be more competitive in 2015?
Yeah, well, a little bit more.
Cool.
Because you said you're taking the foot off the pedal, so
very much.
I've got to jump in there, you know.
Yeah, no.
He's been doing that already, hasn't he?
Way second in the last event. First loser. For me, I enjoy it more for the sort of stuff we're talking to you about. That you were talking about, sorry. That I really like all the Battle of 5 Armies stuff, and trying to work out how to get all the stuff I want in for that into one list is kind of interesting to me. So my list building stuff I have been doing has been desperately trying to get fun lists together rather than looking at it from a competitive list. I genuinely despise building Isengard lists for the league. I don't do a lot of practice games anymore. I'm still plugging away. There's 3 events left. I've still got a chance, Ed's still got a chance, and Jamie's still got a chance. I think that's it. And
just about.
Without maybe Charles winning all 3, I think possibly.
Or Callum now.
Yeah, Callum could win all 3 if he's going to all 3. Yeah, but relatively unlikely, I think. And I hate the fact that every time an event comes around, I'm then like, all right, I've got 600 points this time. How many berserkers? How many ferals? How many crossbowmen? I don't enjoy that. I don't see any challenge in that. And again, I'm really quite looking forward to next year that being over. So to me, the competitive list building, I don't actually particularly enjoy, and it doesn't take up a lot of my time because the last few tournaments I've picked my army, my Isengard army, like a day or 2 before. Just going, all right, I get that many for that many points, and I'll rock up. But I do enjoy thinking about lists. I've enjoyed working out my army of Thrall list, got about 1,000 points and stuff. It's good fun. It's nice to sit down with I've got my little Hobbit notebook. It's fun to scribble these things in, just maybe using part. But no, if I'm using up my time, I'd rather be painting or doing some scenery building. So. It's a good question though. I know Jamie likes it. Yeah. Jamie does a lot of it, I think. There was a response to some of the neglected profiles that we mentioned. We talked about people like Theoden and sorry, I think these were underpriced or overpriced profiles. That was it. And we were mentioning the unnamed ring wraiths. Have a little think if you want, and I won't put you on the spot, and we'll come back to you to see if any that stand out to you.
Undercosted, overcosted, yeah.
The Hobbit Tabletop Liga, our friends in Germany, they suggested Erkenbrand and Berda.
Yeah.
Erkenbrand
especially, yeah.
Very, very cheap. 65, 75 a horse.
He's ridiculous.
3 might, 5/5, that ridiculous horn. Turns the models into 5/4. He's very, very...
I'd forgotten also with the horn, Merry of the Shire is very underpriced.
He is indeed, yeah. And that stacks because it's not a war horn. So if you put him and Erkenbrand, they get +3 courage.
Yeah.
It's only for hobbits, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. So hobbits will get +3 courage. That's worth thinking about. Birder. I don't know his points cost.
115, something like that.
He's quite scary. He's a monster with might.
3 mana cave troll.
Yeah. He's good. Don't know if he's.
How many points is he?
115, is it?
Yeah.
Probably fairly costed, I don't know.
And
Well, so it's 35 more than a cave troll itself. So if you work out the 5-point rationale, you've given a cave troll 3 might, and have you got any will and fate?
1/1 probably, so that's about 25 points more. And then he's probably got.
But it's a bit.
Yeah, it's a courage.
It's kind of exponential, isn't it? Maybe you'll write about this in a future article somewhere. But
it might be difficult.
Like giving a 3 attack hero at fight 6 hero might is more important than giving a 2 attack fight 4 hero might.
Exactly.
But and particularly with the monster special rules and all that.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, maybe Birder. And Ian Marley suggested that Bayorn was overpriced.
Mm-hmm.
Which I completely agree with.
Yeah.
I think he should be 170-ish. He's 200.
Yeah, I mean he's more than Treebird, but he starts in non-bear form and runs around if.
Yeah.
But he's still a fight 6 hero of 3 might.
He's a fight 8 hero.
Well, no, in man form.
Yeah, not for 200 points. I mean,
yeah, but
he's essentially Dwalin.
He's Dwalin,
yeah. But then you've got the option of, I know you have to take it to chance of rolling.
That's the thing, isn't it? It's the risk. That's the issue. If he stays in man form, he's not worth 200 points.
No.
And even then, if you get, because he's better in some ways and worse in some ways than Treebird, and he's got 8-inch movement, which is handy. But he's a bit too much.
He's got a lot of special rules though.
He does. I think he's one of the people who's a bit like Theoden, where he's overpriced, but he's probably still worth taking.
Yeah. He can still be good.
And you see him a lot. He's about a lot of events for a big monster.
Yeah.
And Grima was the suggestion of someone who's undercosted.
The caveat with Grima is that you have to take Saruman, so you can't just drop him in for 25 points like Alfred.
Like Alfred, just about.
Yeah. He's kind of, which is a fair rule. And we've discussed in the past how maybe Alfred's rule should be that you have to take the master.
Master of the town, yeah.
But then it negates that underpriced part.
Yeah, it does.
Essentially.
And also there's a lot of ways to
Alfred's underpriced.
to deal with him. Alfred's very underpriced, yeah. There's a lot of ways to deal with him. You can Sorcerer's Blast him, you can trap him with models, those sort of things.
But Alfred just does it straight away.
Yeah, Alfred can do it all before the game begins as well.
Guahir's overpriced.
Yep. About 20 points, isn't he? Something like that. Ian Marley picked up, though, is after the recent FAQ discussion, Grima does his rule, the might sapping, I can't remember, a traitor within rule.
Yeah.
Does that stop being in effect if immobilizes on him? Because immobilize now means they can basically do nothing except roll the dice for duel and back away. So would a hero in 6 inches still have to use 2 might points?
Potentially not.
Potentially not.
But then it's a special rule. It's not like it's just he's not an ability that he does. That's his job to be a nuisance in the first place.
It's an area of effect.
Yeah, area of effect.
If you immobilised a banner, then within 3 inches, the models would still get the roll. If you immobilised the Dwimmerlake, I think his rule would still apply.
Yeah, I think the ones that are discounted are like the Horn of Gondor and Parry, because you have to physically do something with that.
Yeah, absolutely.
I think it's taking common sense that the ruling was applied for the common sense of, is it an action that you have to do?
Yeah.
Or not?
I think it does require common sense, but I think it is pretty clear cut. I think area of effect ones are quite easy like that. It's not something that the guy's choosing to do. But he is very good for his points. We had clarification that managers of GW styles wear black and the staffers wear blue, which was from Ryan Smith, I believe. So thank you very much for that. And Larry Miller made an interesting point about undead. He said this banish spell affects undead and spirits. And as far as he knows, there are no undead models.
Undead?
Yeah.
Ah.
Now, is that an oversight, or is that potentially something we might be seeing? And we've just watched the extended edition of Desolation of Smaug, and there's more references to undead in there. there are references to the dead have been seen walking.
Mm.
Now, quite what that will mean for the Battle of Five Armies, we don't know.
Mm.
But
Fair
potentially,
assumption.
could we be seeing some sort of undead model?
Like a re-release of the Witch King.
You know, if he's the
Undead
Witch
version.
King, it'd still be a spirit. The race of spirits.
So they're not technically... okay.
It implies
so
that
maybe like
like you have
a
monster, infantry, cavalry, spirit, undead.
Potentially.
Potentially be him himself.
Maybe.
But
Don't know.
a zombie version of the 9.
Sort of a zombie version.
Essentially.
Rings.
Yeah, we don't know. Interesting. There's no undead models there, as far as I know.
No.
And James Long would like to congratulate you,
Mm-hmm.
Mr. Tom Harrison, on your appointment as 2015 Craigbush Hobbit League coordinator.
Oh yeah. Thank you. Yeah, I need to get organised and.
You need to get organising.
Yeah, organising.
Indeed, Tom will be running the league as of next year.
Yep.
Congrats, sir.
Not quite in the same way as Mick did. All of the tournament organisers will also be involved in some capacity on making decisions, just so that I don't gallivant off and make it all rubbish.
It's probably for the best.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
And there was a long discussion thread this week about the potential of a Masters event, where maybe at the end of the year, the top 8 or the top 16 play off against each other.
Yeah.
And James Long would like to know, Mr. League Coordinator, what do you think?
No comment for now. I think is the best
abstaining.
answer on the Palantir. Let's keep politics out of the Palantir.
Classic.
Can talk to you about my
politician.
education policy.
What is your education policy?
People should be educated.
It's good.
Yeah,
Strong.
good.
Strong
Definitely.
policy.
I'll vote for you.
Yeah, good. It's too late now.
Thank God you're going up against that guy who said people shouldn't be educated. Other kind of exciting news this week is that we'd like to give a shout out to our good channel friend Mr. Steve Crowe, and just mention his campaign
Yeah.
that he's up and running. So what's going on with Steve? What's his campaign?
Don't know what's going on with him, but but yeah, his campaign. Steve has created a website with all the information on. It's not just got stuff to do with the campaign. It has some extra little bits, which is quite cool.
Yeah.
But the campaign itself, I think it was him and Will Champion put together this really awesome map, which is based on
Will Pointer.
Will Pointer. Did I say Will Champion?
Will Champion.
I meant Will Pointer. Sorry, guys.
A will of some sort.
A will of some sort.
Where there's a will, there's a way.
Yeah, so it looks really cool. It's based on an old, is it Battle Games from Middle-earth or White Dwarf
I don't know.
campaign map? Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I think it might be a White
There's
Dwarf,
a hex
yeah.
version. Yeah.
And they're all based at the Northwest Gaming Centre.
Yeah.
I think anyone can join up and get involved. I think he's just trying to get a kind of regular group going. And the website is NW, so for Northwest, not New World, if anyone was thinking that. nwhobbitcampaign.wix, which is wix.com. But I'm sure if you're at all interested, you can hit Steve up. Maybe if I'm incredibly lucky, incredibly generous, I'll put a link to that in the stuff down below there, so you can go and click and check it out and see what we're up to. It's a really cool looking website, and Steve's put a lot of time. Steve and others, I presume, put a lot of time into it. So if anyone's in the kind of area and wants to get on board and support that, please do. And best of luck with it, Steve.
Yeah.
So yes, those were the kind of picks out of the comments. Thank you very much, as always. There were a few rules questions in there as well. We dealt with a few, but just to remind you, kind of yes or no kind of rules questions, that sort of thing, probably best directed at Speedfinder question.
Yeah.
Because that's what they are there for, whereas we're hoping to generate more of a discussion, a few discussion points every week.
Otherwise we'll never get on to talking about the extended edition of Desolation of Smaug.
Indeed.
We ready?
I'm ready.
Good.
Oh yes. So it is Tuesday.
It is Tuesday.
It's Tuesday at the moment.
Wow.
Well, it's probably Wednesday.
It's technically Wednesday.
And the iTunes version of the digital download of the Desolation of Smaug Extended Edition came out today on the 21st of October. So if you're watching this, if you want, you can download the digital version with all the extras except the commentary. which is how they get you. Which obviously I did. The physical release comes out on November the 4th, I think.
Yeah, it was 3rd.
Is that?
Yeah, it was. No, it is 4th now, but it was 3rd because your pub quiz at Titans, the answer was 3rd.
Then they've definitely changed it.
Rumble.
There's no way I was wrong.
No, I know.
Maybe I have. I don't know. Maybe I was wrong. Maybe they changed
No,
it.
no, it was definitely.
It was definitely 3rd. Thanks, Tom.
No,
You got my
I
point.
answered that, so it was.
Yeah, it's definitely a 3rd. They've changed it. I can't believe Warner Brothers changed it.
One day. What does one day mean?
Indeed. So iTunes users can potentially get a 2-week jump on the physical release, which is quite cool. If you've got iTunes, quite infuriating if you haven't. I mean,
But just wait.
Who doesn't have iTunes?
Doesn't matter. I just watched it.
Don't know how to use it, to be honest.
Yeah. So it is out. We did download it and we have watched it. So we haven't watched the special features, but we've watched the movie. Tom, first thoughts?
Very good. That's all you're getting.
Not having Jamie back.
Yeah. No, it's really nice. There's a lot of extra stuff, and it's nice that some of them are actual storylines in themselves, as we'll come on to. You know, there's stuff to get into, as opposed to it just being a fleeting one snippet of an extra fight for 5 seconds.
It's probably worth saying, spoilers. Like, we're not going
massive spoilers.
Like, we don't want to ruin this for anyone, so we won't describe in detail what happens in any of the scenes. We won't talk our way through them.
Or put any photos
or put any, particularly any spoilers towards the end. Of some of the way some of the storylines get resolved.
Yes.
But we'll mention the kind of extra stuff you get and what we enjoyed about it and those kind of things. So yeah, it'll be that kind of thing. If you want to go into it blind, don't watch the next 20 minutes. If you want to hear about what's in it and what we thought about it, watch it. Or maybe come back after you've watched it.
Yeah.
So yeah. Can't blame us now. Tom, first thoughts?
Yeah, it was amazing. It was a lot more about certain characters that was needed, but at the same time possibly could have added more into certain areas.
Oh, okay. So there was still some thought.
Yeah, I think that could have
done with more.
Done with a bit more. Yeah.
Cool. Did you like the Desolation of Smaug in the first place?
Yeah, I did. Yeah, I did very much.
Because there was a lot of people who, bizarrely, a lot of the casual movie-going fans, the reviews were a lot better for the second one, but a lot of the kind of passionate fans seem to prefer the first one.
I prefer the first one.
I prefer the first one.
No, I prefer the first one. I like the second one,
But now, do you think, has your opinion changed now, do you think?
No, I still prefer the first one.
Okay.
But they have made it better.
Yeah.
Definitely.
It's definitely a better film. Like in every way, it now comes in at 3 hours and 6 minutes.
Yeah. With credits.
That's with credits, isn't it? Yeah, I think. So it's a big chunky extra bit. We get 25 minutes this time. And Unexpected Journey only had 13. So you do get a lot of kind of extra stuff, which really fleshes out, particularly the first half.
Yeah,
definitely.
So Tom, what can we expect to see?
Well, which Tom are you directing?
Tom 2, Tom 1 or 2.
Tom 1.0.
Tom 1.0. So obviously, I think everyone was expecting extra Bayonne, and we were delivered extra Bayonne. And actually, a little bit of Bayonne cut out to make the scene make sense.
Yeah, that's quite interesting, isn't it? I don't know. I can't think of whether they've done it in Lord of the Rings, but I don't think it's a spoiler. No. The scene where Bilbo wakes up in the middle of the night and Bayonne comes into the house is now no longer in the film because of the chronology of the way the Bayonne scene plays out, which is quite cool.
Yeah.
Maybe they put that in after. That was
exactly.
pickup.
Is that a pickup for the theatrical edition, knowing they're going to shoot the extended? They're going to cut it, which is quite cool. So yeah, we do get more Bayonne.
Yeah, more Bayonne in the house. Bayonne meeting the dwarves, and
that was funny.
Upon their leaving as well, more Bayonne.
More Bayonne with Gandalf. You essentially get the scenes that we've seen clips from. You saw, the one of him cutting wood. That was the first shot of Bayonne. That whole scene's in there, and the scene of him talking with Gandalf, which was in I think it was in a calendar for Unexpected Journey or something, or maybe Desolation of Smaug. You now get a big scene there, and it's twice as much Bayonne maybe 3 times as much. You get a lot more.
3, yeah.
You get a lot more of a surly tall man.
Yeah, indeed. There was a lot of criticism, wasn't there, that Bale's bit was far too quick, and it now that whole section feels far more leisurely.
Yeah.
Far more how you might expect it to have been.
Yeah.
Which is fantastic. And you also get a variation of the introduction scene from the book, which I know a lot of people. I didn't get that as a thing that was a problem.
No, it doesn't.
It being cut, you know, where all the dwarves get introduced one by one. It's not quite like that.
No.
But they have put it in there.
Yeah.
So that'll please a lot of people. It's very good. It's very well done. So that was cool. So we get a slightly more leisurely start, a bit more character stuff, and a bit more of the canon challenging stuff about the Witch King being buried.
Yeah, no, that was a nice little snippet.
Definitely.
Was that something that bothered a lot of people about it's referenced in the first film, isn't it, at the White Council?
Yeah.
With the Witch King being buried in the tombs by the Men of the North. And you get another little snippet of that, which is quite cool. But will undoubtedly annoy an awful lot of people. I would have thought.
Definitely.
No.
Yeah. No.
Don't know. What happens then?
What happens after that? What does happen after that?
Are we going to Mirkwood?
Going to Mirkwood, yes.
Yeah, there was no. Oh yeah, and then we see the whole extended bit that was in the extended trailer, with them crossing the river, stream. Sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Across the lines.
And we actually see that play out, and then there's a lot more after that actually.
A lot more.
Yeah, there's a lot more of that first bit in Mirkwood, isn't there?
Yeah.
All the kind of moments from the book
Carrie and Bomber
are missing, with the exception of them raiding the elves' party.
Yeah.
That's still not in there, which is, I think, perfectly in keeping with the Hobbit version.
Yeah.
The film version. But yeah, the bit at the start of Mirkwood feels longer. It feels like they're lost in there for longer, and you get some really cool stuff in there, which is really, really nice. And that whole first section of the film feels slowed down. Like, feels nicely expanded. I thought it was a bit that kind of in the Lake Town felt really well paced, and Smaug was well paced, but the first half of the film maybe felt
a bit rushed.
Yeah, very rushed. Like a lot of stuff was missing, and it's nice having those scenes drop back in. I think.
Well, funny enough, I was saying to you earlier on about the scene in Tyrannul's Hall. They deleted it, and it was where they first get taken prisoner, and they approach Thranduil, and Balin and Dwalin actually get lines in it saying, you know, this is how you treat your guests, like travellers in your land, and they come to the part where Peter Jackson said, oh, we wanted to add it, but by rights everyone just wanted to see them in jail, and I thought maybe, you know, I don't know whether he's decided to rush it or whether someone's pulling the strings, or
cool.
It would have been nice to see a bit more of that.
And that's
anyway.
not that's
not in the film. Yeah.
I think
that's a completely deleted scene, like never going to be.
I think the key thing is that the extended edition's not meant to be just a run through of all the deleted scenes. It's meant to still be a standalone film that works really well, but is longer.
So there is.
I think that would have fitted, in my opinion, but obviously not PJ's.
So there's another version of essentially the Goblin Town sequence in the extended version where they're all in front of him. The various dwarves kind of step up, pretending to be sorry, almost. It's kind of version of that, I guess. I am Sparkus. But yeah, so and there's also there's scenes. Do you remember the fan event last March? So a year and a half ago, before Desolation of Smaug.
Yeah.
There was a live thing that Peter Jackson did for about an hour, and he showed how they cut a scene together. And the scene they cut together was on the boat with Bard.
Yes.
And it has Bilbo saying, "Oh, never head east. We learned at the Shire, never ever go east," or something like that. And then Bard says, "Tell me, why must you never go east?" And then he sits down next to Keeley, and he says, "Are you alright?" And Keeley goes, "Yeah, it's just a scratch." Obviously, he's talking about his leg. None of that's in the extended version. So all of that stuff.
It was just a take.
Yeah, which is, you know, more material that you saw him cutting together that at some point was going to be in it, isn't even an extended edition. So they've obviously, there's a load more for the 10th anniversary Uber extended edition to come in. So you won't be seeing everything. There's still a whole bunch of extra shots from the trailers. Like there's a shot where Tariel leaps, almost like the Thrain shot. She leaps off a branch somewhere down onto an orc. That's not in there still. The shot of her where she seems to be on horseback pulling an arrow. So there's an awful lot. Don't expect to see everything in there, which is kind of interesting.
Yeah.
But so after the new stuff in Mirkwood.
Yeah, plod through Mirkwood. Get to the barrels.
There's no new elves, is there? There's nothing.
No, there's nothing new.
There's
nothing new on the barrel sequence or Bard, I believe, at the first meeting anyway.
Yeah, and Bard.
It's quite interesting to note that for the most part, unlike the Lord of the Rings, the scenes seem to be relatively new rather than extended. Like most of them are whole new self-contained scenes.
Yeah.
Rather than in the Lord of the Rings, you'd occasionally get it would carry on. There'd be a few more lines here, a few more lines here, or in an action sequence, it would be you'd suddenly get more beats in action.
Yeah.
It doesn't seem to do that. So that the barrel escape, as far as we noticed, was exactly the same.
Yeah.
Which would strike you as a sort of time maybe you might get some more kind of what's fine, but there's nothing added to that. There's nothing added to the spider attack, for example.
No.
All those scenes don't have kind of extra violence. Violence is interesting because they're 15.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do we think we picked up on why?
We'll get to that later, yeah.
But even that is, when we talk about it, it's quite strong for to get a 15. But yeah, it's the oldest rated Middle Earth movie so far.
So yeah, after the barrels, obviously Bard takes them to Lake Town, and there's quite a bit more Lake Town.
A lot of Lake Town, actually, yeah.
Which is nice. You get to see the Master and Alfred a lot more.
Yeah.
And the captain of the Lake Town Guard.
Braga.
Yeah.
Okay.
With Bard, isn't it that sequence where he talks about his wife?
Yes.
Yeah.
There's a whole new sequence of dwarfs entering Lake Town.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which is quite elaborate.
Yes, they get discovered.
Yeah. What do we get for the Master and Lake Town? Master and Alfred, sorry.
Yeah, there's a few scenes of them together talking. Maybe 3 more.
Yeah.
Or even 4.
As I was saying earlier, you notice a lot more that even though Alfred will always do the Master's bidding, in my opinion, you can see that he hates him. And think I got that from the deliverance of the scene.
Yeah.
That he actually thinks he's a bit of a rotten so-and-so.
It's very well restrained.
Yeah.
He's indeed a rotten so-and-so. Yeah, so that was... Do we like that? Do we like seeing more of those guys? Yeah. And it sets up... It explains their actions to Bard more, doesn't it?
Yeah.
In the theatrical cut, I didn't think it quite made sense why the Master hated Bard so much. And there's a couple of these extra scenes where his motivations for that are explained, which is quite nice, as well as giving those kind of extra characters more time to shine.
Yeah.
And in one of those scenes...
Yeah. There's a naughty word not fit for the Palantir.
No. It's a naughty word. And it's... Which...
I'll do an action.
What did you think about that?
Sign language for that particular...
That's a Palantir, children. Tom's doing a Palantir.
It's sign language.
Multiple Palantirs.
It is a... it's obviously... It's not just overt swearing. It's a pun on some cuisine that you might eat. But doesn't sound very enjoyable. And also... explains what Alfred might think of exactly what the Master is saying at the time.
Yeah.
What did we think about that? Being in there?
I think, to be honest, in my opinion, I know they've made it more cinematic from the book, obviously you have to, but essentially being a children's book, to adding an out-and-out blatant swear word, in our society anyway, it's a little bit over the top, in my opinion, a bit crass. You know, it worked for, like you said, he's showing an opinion of what the Master was talking about, but didn't really need to be in
it. Needed it.
No.
Yeah, it came out of the blue a bit.
Yeah,
I was quite surprised in like a Peter Jackson Middle Earth movie that you got it. But that might be And that's still very harsh, but that could be why it's a 15.
Yeah.
Like one use of swearing in it, which seems to me
unnecessary,
a ridiculous thing to do from a studio point of view.
Yeah.
If that is the reason, because there's not a lot more violence in it that would pump it up.
Just take that out.
There's certainly no more, I don't even know if we're allowed to say that, intimate scenes or anything. So to have one swear word in there that then means you're a 15 instead of 12A, from a sales point of view, seems a bit silly.
You're dwindling the market.
Yeah, exactly. But I don't know, maybe the 12 to or 15 and under Hobbit market isn't huge, who knows.
But yeah, that's actually an interesting point, that the Hobbit extended edition for the first one is a 12, but if you go into all the extras and you see Martin Freeman, there's a lot of swearing there.
There is, yeah, you're right.
And that's still 12.
There's the whole montage of him swearing, essentially, isn't there? And they do swear in that. They don't bleep out swearing, I think, in the extended.
Well, they wouldn't swear, beep out words like the one that was used. I wouldn't have thought.
Well, yeah.
But yes, that's a bit interesting that you kind of got that. But overall, I thought the Lake Town sequence was really good.
Yeah. Bilbo chipped in, didn't he? When he hadn't done in the theatrical version.
Yeah,
yes, he stood up for Thorin.
For when Thorin and Bard are having their argument. That scene's a bit expanded by a few different lines.
Yeah.
That one is extended, as opposed to new.
Yeah.
Also picked up on was, I think, I can't remember who mentioned it in the first place. I think it might be Ian Marley, who mentioned his name again. About potentially a party in Lake Town that we thought might be in there.
Yeah, there were a
And it
few.
wasn't.
Yeah, there was another few bits that we thought might be in there. So what's the party? What's the party? What are you talking about?
Well, when Beaufort wakes up in the Master's office,
Yeah.
we'd have thought it'd have led up to some merriment in Lake Town.
Yeah.
Celebrations the night before.
Yeah, the idea is that he's welcomed them in.
Yeah.
They all get drunk, and that's why he oversleeps.
Yeah.
And there's a very harsh cut, isn't there, from him going, welcome, welcome, thrice welcome, and then mourning.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then maybe, I don't know, I was thinking maybe we'll see them get their Lake Town gear on, like all the armour and stuff, and have a bit of a do. And nope, that's not in there.
Nothing.
I don't know if they filmed it at all.
No, maybe they didn't. And the other thing that isn't in there, that I thought was going to be in there, is Dale. Is what?
Dale, yes.
Research assistant.
Indeed. In this, which is these wonderful books that we've mentioned in the past, the Chronicles books, this is the one for Desolation of Smaug. Somewhere in he hopes is the ruins of Dale. Okay, Ashes and Ghosts, Dale and Glory and Ruin. Yeah, this sort of thing. And what you get, where is it? Is the Dwarf Company, walking through Dale, walking through the ruins of Dale, on their way to the Lonely Mountain. And you get a few kind of bits of concept art about that. And so that seemed to kind of expand the journey of them, like getting there and kind of going through that. And that is, of course, that's in there for the theatrical version.
Yeah.
And then wasn't in the theatrical version. And so I thought maybe that's another bit that might make it in to kind of set up the location for film 3, where clearly a lot of action takes place.
Yeah. But they didn't.
No, again. So it kind of really goes to show how much they really did film as well, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, or at least planned.
Yeah, I suppose we haven't seen that actually being in the can, but we know a lot of other stuff.
Yeah.
What's film that isn't used, which is good because it still means the filmmakers are showing restraint, which is kind of handy. So yeah, we get a fair bit of Lake Town, which is already fairly well developed. I remember feeling quite. I don't think it's fairly balanced. Like that's my only criticism. I still love the first. It's now an hour and 10 minutes, which is all the Mirkwood stuff.
Plus barrels?
Yeah, and the barrels. And the barrels, I think, end at an hour 10. And then it's an hour 50 for the rest. Remember when we paused it at that point? And so it's like, when you think about it, I don't think that's the right ratio.
No.
Because you've got to go through all the Bale and all the Mirkwood, all the elf halls, all the barrels in an hour 10 minutes. And then it's like an hour of Lake Town and an hour at the mountain. And
Well, yeah, I mean, I've cut a lot of the mountain.
yeah, because you weren't a big fan of them, as a lot of people
Yeah,
weren't,
and Mountain Gold and
of the showdown.
Well, just the chase in general. I don't think it needed it.
Mm.
I think you can have tension in other ways other than the chase.
Yeah.
It doesn't have to be action.
I suppose anyone who didn't like that scene will be relieved to know that's not any longer.
No.
The-
No.
There's, in fact, it's quite similar in a way to Return of the King. Because I remember the last new bit of Return of the King is the Mouth of Sauron.
Mm.
There's the tiny little bit where Smeagol suddenly says Smeagol lied up on the mountain, which I never understood why they cut that from the theatrical edition.
yeah.
It's
It
really
takes
good.
2 seconds and it's incredibly important for his character because it shows him that like Smeagol wasn't innocent. Smeagol was a mean guy as well. But the main scene is Mouth of Sauron, and then you get like 40 minutes or something. I don't know how much is left in Return of the King. There's no new stuff.
But, yeah.
And I felt a bit like that with this.
Yeah.
Where when you're watching the
Yeah.
extended edition, how
waiting
much you
for
enjoy
a
it,
bit.
you want new bits.
Mm.
And like, yeah, the last bit is in Gandalf, which we'll get to because it's probably the highlight for me. Was in Gandalf's scenes in Dol Guldur. And then all the stuff pretty much from when they get to the mountain. So all the stuff with the 4 dwarfs and Tarion and Legolas in Lake Town and all the stuff inside Erebor is exactly the same. There's got no new bits, I think. Isn't that true?
No, not the whole chase isn't changed or.
So yeah, and then that leaves us with
Gandalf and
Gandalf and
Thrain the
Thrain.
Broken. Pretty epic.
Thrain! Yeah! He
That's
appears.
the unbroken bit.
That's unbroken. Broken is on the window.
Undercoated.
Yeah,
Unbroken.
he does look at Thrain!
You can paint him now. You've seen
Yeah, now I've seen him. I've been kind of waiting. This is the bit I think I said in the previous video I've been so excited about. Like this whole storyline, I really, really like the look of. And what happens? What do we get of Thrain?
Lots of cool stuff. We forgot to mention there's Thrain in the prologue at the start.
Yes,
So there's,
that's awesome.
right, this is going to sound confusing, but at the start when Gandalf and Thorin are talking, there's then
that's
a
extended as
flashback
well.
prologue to the kind of
Not the
flashback
Moria.
prologue in the first film.
Yeah.
And they've kind of made it a bit white and fuzzy so it looks like a memory. And there's extra bits to that, which is really cool. I quite like that. And you get it, the way it's shot also is sometimes from Thrain's point of view, looking at Azog, which is quite interesting.
Yeah. So we get him at the battle. We get another flashback to the Battle of Moria. So we get 2 actually, don't we?
Yes, it goes back and explains.
Which is cool.
Yes.
We won't tell you exactly what happens.
No, but 2 really, 2 at different points.
That kind of there's a whole other there's a thread about his ring essentially about the rings, which then might
The
tie
dwarven
into
rings.
the necromancer. And the reason I bring that up is because in the Unexpected Journey at the White Council, there's in the extended version there's a bit about the ring. So they and this is the kind of forethought they put into it. The theatrical version cut out the mention of Thrain's ring, knowing that Thrain wasn't going to be in the theatrical version of Desolation of Smaug. So then they put it back into the extended version of Unexpected Journey, knowing that
It'd be in
the extended version of this.
Yeah.
So that kind of, which is, I think the point of that is kind of sowing Gandalf's doubts about the necromancer and that sort of thing, who exactly he is. So yeah, we get that kind of stuff, which is cool.
Yeah.
To get a bit of Thrain and Thorin together.
Yeah.
But what else do we
get? A lot of the broken Thrain in Dol Guldur. It's pretty cool.
It's very
Yeah, sorry, no, it reminded me a little bit of like an Aliens film, the way it was.
Yeah.
It really does. It's like Thrain scuttling around, Gandalf's turning around, misses him, doesn't know where he's coming from, and then, jumps on him. That was pretty cool.
Yeah, I think another cool bit is that a lot of the scenes are the same and Thrain's just been airbrushed out.
Yeah,
near to the end of it with the whole necromancer.
I definitely wasn't expecting.
Yeah, that's really interesting.
I really wasn't expecting.
As much as they've added stuff in, there are a lot of the existing scenes that are in the theatrical edition that now have.
He's standing right next to Azog as Azog strikes Gandalf.
Yeah,
which is
very cool.
Yeah,
But that stuff was great.
Mm.
I really enjoyed that.
Definitely.
And it's long as well.
Mm.
Like, it's a lot longer than I thought it would
stuff,
be.
yeah.
Like, the whole Thrain storyline is comfortably 5 minutes.
Mm.
Like, if you include, it might well be longer than that,
Yeah.
including the prologue stuff.
Yeah.
But it's really, really good, and it adds that extra level of the kind of history to it, I think, of having these characters kind of referenced throughout the films.
Mm.
And I was really looking forward to that bit, and I was really pleased with the way that played out. And it gave Gandalf's storyline a bit more as well, because Gandalf doesn't have a whole lot to do in that film, I think.
Mm-hmm.
And it sets up a couple of interesting questions. Well, there's one line that we won't kind of tell you, won't spoil. I don't think we should do it.
No.
About some of the motivations of the characters, which
there's one very key line in there,
which potentially changes a lot, and potentially answers a question that a lot of the fans have had about. Let's get into vague about how someone knows something.
It's not too much of a spoiler. Everyone knows the question.
You think?
Yeah, I think that.
Well, why don't you say it, because you won't be here next week.
So take the backlash. Well, basically, how did Smaug know that Thorin was called the Oakenshield?
Indeed.
And it turns out, should I say it?
It's only a theory anyway. It's only one line, isn't it?
Oh yeah, that Thrain essentially tells Gandalf that the Necromancer and Smaug have been in league with each other.
In touch.
As
we discussed on Facebook, on the phone. Yeah, there's one kind of throwaway line about them being in league, which potentially could imply how Smaug knows that Thorin should be called Oakenshield, when he got that name long after Smaug took Erebor.
But Thrain definitely knows that Smaug is still at Erebor, because he says that Thorin shouldn't go there, when Gandalf says that he has.
Yeah, as that's in the trailer, isn't it? That was in the trailer for the extended edition, with them going, Thorin must not go near Erebor. But yeah, that stuff was, I really enjoyed that. I enjoyed that whole sequence. And that's a pretty good example of the kind of way this film's extended. Yeah. That you get whole new scenes, whole new
it's
sequences.
whole new bits to be involved with. So there's less having to know the film very well to be like, oh, that's an extra 2-second snippet.
Yeah.
It's just identifying, oh, this is a new section.
The only one there's a really subtle bit where there's an extra shot of Alfred chucked in. That we were like,
really cool.
Was that a new bit? And then you realise why a couple of, like a minute later. Yeah. It's then referenced. But like you say, there's very little kind of lines here or lines there. Yeah. It's not like a big bit in the prologue and then 2 big bits with Beorn and then some big bits of Mark and a big bit with Thrain, rather than it's scattered all over the place. And I don't know, how do you feel about that? Like compared to...
We've missed one more bit, actually. I'll come back to that question. We actually saw what Thranduil's mount does for its living. Well, I don't know, but we saw a stag.
The white stag.
Yeah, it's the white stag. But it wasn't his...
It's not his elf.
It's not his elf.
No.
But yeah, the white stag sequence from the book is in there as well.
Yeah.
I was trying to do it without spoilers, and then I realised that it just was making no sense.
It just sounded like the ravings of a madman.
We did mention spoilers at the beginning.
Yeah, we did.
Yeah.
And no, I don't think they're brief overviews rather than describing the scenes in detail. But yeah, so you get the bit, you genuinely get the bits I think people wanted to see. Like when people were saying the stuff that was missing, most of it's in there.
The bomber in the stream was definitely one that people would have missed.
Absolutely. Kind of iconic moments from the books are in there, which I think people will watch this and kind of, anyone who didn't enjoy it as much might feel, I won't change your opinion of the film, but it might make you feel more kindly towards it. But you won't get... I really like Desolation of Smaug, I enjoyed it as a film, but I was slightly disappointed tonight during all the scenes I'd already seen. Where I kept wanting the other scenes to have just a couple of extra shots. I wanted someone else to kill an orc in the barrel escape. I wanted one extra shot of them avoiding Smaug. Just little bits to keep you guessing.
No more of them avoiding Smaug.
Or maybe Levy kill another orc in Lake Town. But you know what I mean? Like extra bits like that, which I don't think you get in the same way you did in Lord of the Rings.
You don't.
But you do get really, really meaty, chunky scenes. Yeah. Which really develop the story a lot.
And the character. Well, one character's not even there in the original version. So.
If you like, if you like Beorn, Thrain, and Mirkwood,
good.
These are the.
Yeah.
These are the. This is the film for you.
Otherwise, sorry.
Yeah.
You're not gonna like it.
And Lake Town, I suppose.
Oh yeah,
Lake
Lake
Town.
There's a reasonable amount of extra Lake Town.
Yeah.
Mm.
There's not lots of nice extra scenes between a few characters.
Yeah.
It's very good, and as with all the 4 that came before it, it's better.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's definitely better. So, where are we now feeling Desolation of Smaug Extended Edition out of 10?
You first time.
9.
You want 9?
9, yes. Not quite 10 because I think they could have elaborated in other areas, but 9 because they have put so much good content in there. And developing content, like you said, it's not just little snippets.
Yeah.
It's actual bits from the books and stuff that we
Yeah,
that remember.
it's the kind of
Yeah.
it's the service to people who say, "No, you're not following the books."
Mm.
I don't know, if I was to put Fellowship of the Ring at 10 out of 10, I think, realistically, in a very highly critical scale, I'd go for something along the lines of 7 to 8.
That's not being too harsh.
No.
7.
I was going to say, oh, go on.
Yeah, I mean, I think that it is good, and there are a lot. I kind of like you say, I really enjoy up to the barrel scene, and then I think that I'm not a massive fan of the Smaug bit at the end. Well, don't get me wrong, I love the Smaug bit with Bilbo in Erebor, just the 2 of them. That's my favourite bit of the film.
Yeah.
But what precedes that, I don't think was required.
What precedes it?
Sorry.
Succeeds.
What follows it?
Yeah, I'm tired. It's bedtime. It's definitely bedtime.
I like that.
I think I'd put it about an 8 or something for me.
Mm-hmm.
I still really love it. I think I can't agree with you. Up to the barrels, I think it's damn near perfect.
Mm.
I think every time I watch it, I go, this is absolutely incredible, and then it just there's something that doesn't quite connect with me about the rest of it, where it goes a bit flat.
Mm.
And it might be, dare I say it, the fact that it goes slightly too far from the book, because there is so much of it that's then made up, and it's all good, and I think it's all important development stuff for characters like Bard for the 3rd film, and I love the way Lake Town looks.
Yeah.
But
that's what I think I didn't go 10 because of the Lake Town sequence with Alfred, because of the swear word.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Otherwise, because I'm more of a film buff than a book buff.
Yeah.
That's why I would give it such a
This
high
is the
mark.
thing, isn't it?
I love the film.
Yeah, like the film
The
critics and stuff
cinematography,
loved it, and
yeah.
the common like Emma preferred the second one, I think.
Mm.
And like, a lot of people love the second one. I think it's a lot better, which is great. But yeah, I think the first half's absolutely fantastic, and the first half's miles better now as well,
Mm.
and even more fantastic.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think it's very, very good, and I'm very, very excited now to download all the extras
Yeah,
and work my way
to watch
through
that.
them and sort of see what they say. I'm really hoping there's a documentary of some sort about turning it into 3 films.
Mm-hmm.
And sort of what they say about that and
Yeah.
what the decision making process
And
was.
the Azog Bulg switch.
Yeah.
Was clearly in that
Yeah,
film.
Yeah.
absolutely. Where and when Azog swapped places with Bulg. So Azog went back to Dol Guldur and that sort of thing. There's a torture scene missing still.
Mm.
That's something else.
You
The
can
guy who
hold
played
the
Beorn
torture.
said the first scene he filmed was a torture scene.
And Bulg was
Ah.
called the Torture Master or something.
He was,
wasn't he?
of Dol Guldur, yeah.
So it must have been filmed with the old Bulg.
Yeah, maybe it was done.
And maybe it was a flashback at the breakfast.
Yeah, that's what I was kind of when he says, you can see the
yeah,
flashbacks
yeah.
coming in Lord of the Rings films, and when he kind of goes, he used to torture them not for food, is it, but for sport,
Yeah.
and
Um,
it zooms in on his shackle,
mm.
which you had a wonderful point about his shackle.
Yeah. How does it not burst off when he transforms into a bear?
Yeah, where does it come back
Yeah.
from? He's not wearing it as a bear, is he?
Unless it's on one of his knuckles.
It becomes a ring.
We have to check the model, so he's got a metal ring around his
Yeah,
knuckles.
it's ridiculous.
That's a good point. It's like the Incredible Hulk's trouser.
Yeah.
But yeah, he said that the first thing he filmed was torturing. It's not clear whether he was torturing the orc for information or whether they were torturing him.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, that's still not appeared.
Mm.
No, I think it would be that.
Yeah, him being tortured.
Yeah, he's tortured, yeah.
So again, who knows if they're planning on expanding his role in the 3rd film rather than just having him turn up at the end, which would make sense. But maybe I reckon that was the chance to see that scene if it was going to be in there.
Yeah, it's a shame.
So yeah, so there we are. We'll be watching all the extended bits and all the documentaries now. It's the 21st of October, so the trailer's due soon. More merchandise is coming out, and the of course the Games Workshop figures will be being released or being shown in about 4 weeks' time.
Yeah, we hope so anyway.
Yes, definitely.
Somewhere like that.
Really excited.
Yeah. So, any final thoughts?
No.
Well,
I know Tom's final thought. Where's my bed?
it is like that's what happens when you come in from work, watch an extended edition of a Middle Earth movie, and then film the Palantir.
Yeah, extended on an evening is still a long time.
Tom, thank you very much for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
Quite alright.
It's a pleasure.
I hope you enjoyed your time here on the Palantir.
Definitely.
And next week we'll be back to the kind of normal format of a few topics.
Yeah.
And who knows, maybe a trailer to discuss.
Yeah.
So, as ever, don't forget to comment, like, share and subscribe.
Support your hobby.
Follow us on Twitter and Happy
Happy
Strategy Battle Gaming.